Today we're going to be making apple burritos, or like little apple pies in tortilla shells. It's an excellent recipe. I know I've mentioned before, I have one of my children is obsessed with like apples and apple pie, apples with peanut butter, all kind of apple stuff. So I'm going to make this for that particular child, and I'll just bring you all over and show you the process for making it. And it's, like I said, it's an excellent alternative way to have a little apple dessert, apple pie that's handheld in your hand, and it whips up in less than 30 minutes. I'll see y'all over here in just a second. All right, guys, so for this recipe, you're going to need about 4 to 6 medium apples, but we're not going to start off by dicing our apples. We'll have plenty of time to do the dicing of the apples. We're going to start off with our applesauce for these apple burritos, okay? All right, guys, so in a small saucepan over medium heat, we're going to add 1 stick of butter, and we're going to allow that to melt over medium heat. Right, now that we've got the half stick of butter melted, we're going to add 3 tablespoons of all-purpose flour, and we are going to whisk that together and make sure you keep this over medium heat. And this is going to be a constant whisk, okay? So we're going to whisk it until all of the flour is combined, dissolved, and your butter and flour has actually gotten thicker. And so we're going to whisk this for about a minute and a half. All right, so it's been about a minute and a half. We're going to add 1/4 cup of water to our butter and flour mixture and whisk that, along with a cup of granulated sugar and 1/4 cup of brown sugar. And this is going to make our sauce for our apples. Okay, we're just going to whisk all of this together over medium heat. And now that we've got that mixed together, we're going to increase our heat to high and bring this to a boil. And continue whisking while we are bringing it to a boil. All right, guys, so this is coming to a boil. Okay, so it's bubbling there on the edges. So we're going to go ahead, and it's bubbling in the middle as well. So now we're going to go ahead and reduce our heat down to medium heat. And we're going to continue to whisk and stir this for 3 minutes. All right, guys, so it's been about 3 minutes. And so now, well, it's actually been 3 minutes. And so this should be the consistency of your sauce. This is going to be like a caramel consistency, or caramel, however you pronounce it. And so, let's see here, or however you prefer to pronounce it. So we're going to set this aside and let this cool for a little bit before we add our vanilla extract. We don't want the vanilla to cook off in the heat of our caramel. So we'll set this aside, and that's going to give us the minutes that we need to go ahead and get our apples diced up for the apple burritos. Okay, guys, so I've got 4 Honeycrisp apples. I normally prefer to use Granny Smith apples for apple pie, but we've got Honeycrisp, and these are good ones to use as well. So we're going to go ahead and core and skin and take the peels off these apples and get them diced up. All right, so we've got our apples all cored and peeled, and so this is going to be the size of the apples, okay, guys? So you want to make sure that all of your apples are around the same size. And like I said, I peeled and cored 4 medium-sized Honeycrisp apples. Okay, and so now we're going to add our caramel sauce. It is not quite at room temperature yet, but that's okay. It's not steaming hot. So we're going to go ahead and add 2 teaspoons of vanilla to that. And just get that stirred and mixed in. Okay, so now we're going to add 1.5 teaspoons of ground cinnamon and 1/2 teaspoon of nutmeg. All right, and now we're going to pour this sauce on top of our apples. And once we get this poured on and added onto our apples, we'll mix it into the apples, and then we'll set our apples aside. All right, so we've got our caramel sauce poured on top of our apples, and we have our apples coated in that caramel sauce. So we're going to set this aside, and you're going to grab a casserole dish. I'm using an 8x8 casserole dish. You're going to place half of a stick of butter, so that's going to be 4 tablespoons of butter, into your casserole dish. And I'm going to go ahead and stick this in the oven to get the butter melted. And then we're going to take another half of a stick of butter, half of a stick of butter, and we're going to place it in a large skillet and get it melted. And we're going to soften our tortillas in the buttered skillet. The butter has melted, and so all you're going to do is just place your tortilla in the butter And we're not gonna fry the tortillas, we're just gonna soften them. So we're just going to place them, like I said, in that butter and then flip them. Our butter is ready in our casserole dish, okay? So we're gonna place that casserole dish with the butter in it over to the side. And with this casserole dish, we're going to add some cinnamon and sugar, nutmeg. Well, this is brown sugar and cinnamon and white granulated sugar. And make sure you've got that evenly distributed. Okay, guys, so you can see here just warming the tortilla in the buttered skillet. And I already have some of the tortillas folded here, and I'm going to show you all how to do that part of it too. Okay, so we've got our pizza dish here, and I'm just gonna, some of the caramel and butter and stuff is on the pizza pan as well, just from me doing these other ones. So I'm just kind of tossing the tortilla on that, in that substance, and then just gonna do like a spoonful of apples with a little bit of the caramel. And then we're going to fold this over like a burrito. And all the butter and the syrup or caramel sauce also helps to adhese your tortilla. Okay, and then we're just gonna push those apples back in there and then fold over again to make a pocket. And you're gonna, just like this, and then seam side down, you're gonna place your apple pocket in your casserole dish with the seam side down, okay? All right, guys, so now we've got these all in our casserole dish, and this gives us enough time to sprinkle some of the cinnamon sugar on top of the apple pockets. So you're just gonna sprinkle the cinnamon sugar on top, and you're gonna place your casserole dish on in your broiler and just watch it. It's not gonna take it long for it to brown, and it'll be done. Okay, guys, so for these last 3 tortillas that we're gonna do, I'm gonna show you an alternative way to prepare the apple dish without using any butter, frying your tortillas in butter. So I'm gonna take a tortilla and I'm gonna put a paper towel on top of this. And you don't have to do it this way. You could even just put it in the, I'm gonna put it in the microwave, but you could even just put it in the microwave just like this. Mine, tortillas, I keep in the refrigerator. So I'm gonna put a paper towel on top. And I've just got a little bit of water here, and I'm just gonna sprinkle a little bit of water on top of the paper towel just to hold moisture in for the tortilla. And I'm gonna place this in the microwave for about 12 seconds. All right, so I've got that out of the microwave. We're gonna take the paper towel off and set it to the side. And so the tortilla is now soft, it is warm. And so we're gonna take the contents of the apple contents and place this in the middle. And instead of doing it in the pocket, we're gonna do it kind of like a fried pie, okay? So we're just gonna fold it in half. So I'm gonna fold this over, and I'm gonna place a little bit of this water that I have. I'm gonna put a little bit of water just along the edge of the tortilla and along the edge of this tortilla, the other side of it, just to seal it, okay? And then I'm just gonna use my fork and press down just as an additional way to seal, okay? So I'm just gonna seal there, and then I don't think I got any water in the corner there, so I'm just gonna put a little bit there just to seal into that buttered dish, okay? And we're gonna repeat the process. I think I have enough apples for probably about 2 more tortillas. So I'm gonna repeat the process for these 2 additional tortillas and bring y'all back. Okay, so then the rest of our sauce, I'm just gonna take and place on top of these. And you don't have to do this step if you don't want to. You could just leave them plain. But I'm gonna place some of this on top. I'm gonna reserve a little bit for when it comes out of the oven too. Okay, and so then we're gonna place this in the broiler, and before I place it In the broiler, I'm going to add some of the cinnamon sugar, brown sugar topping. And you don't have to do this either, because you know this is gonna brown. And so if you don't like yours browned, like with the little, because you know the cinnamon will kind of scorch under the broiler. If you don't like the way that that looks, you don't have to do this step, okay? That's optional. Some people don't like the way it looks. I love the way it looks. I love the way it tastes. It gives a nice crisp on the outside, but you don't have to do it. Okay, it's just whatever you like. You just dress it up however you like to. There's no wrong, right or wrong way to do this. Okay, guys? Okay, so we're gonna place this under the broiler. Okay, so there we go.